So as if the real estate market is not already a total disaster, it has been heartbreaking to see this happening in Southern California.
Each shocking video showing the absolute devastation in the Pacific Palisades. The footage reveals mile after mile of scorched earth where beautiful homes once existed.
The devastation is complete and just jaw-dropping.
Fury is growing today over the lack of water supply that has hindered firefighters as they battle fires around Los Angeles.
And the worst part about this tragedy is how many years, not months, it's going to take for thousands of families to rebuild their homes there. And I actually believe it's going to have a direct effect on the Las Vegas real estate market and the thousands of Las Vegas homes for sale, as you're about to see. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the US economy, the US real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of the city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So we have a lot of conflicting data coming out right now regarding home prices. On one side, we have an article that just came out that you can see right next to me from Goldman Sachs, thinking that home prices are going to go up about 4% this year in 2025. But then on the other side, we see this other article that just came out from Morgan Stanley saying because housing inventory is going up, we're going to see home prices decline in 2025. Now, nobody has a crystal ball, but here's the big question going through 2025. Trump is about to come into office. He wants to keep the economy going by lowering interest rates, but that will be a disaster for the economy because it'll spike inflation even more. Now, if rates stay high, that means, especially in the housing market, inventory is going to go up because there's going to be a lot less buyers that qualify at higher interest rates. This is the big question as we go through 2025. So the big debatable question right now is, do thousands of Southern California residents want to go through the next couple of years of trying to rebuild their homes and stay in Southern California, or do they want to do a migration over to a place like Las Vegas, which is right next door, and the prices are certainly far lower in terms of the median price point, which again, here it's less than $500,000, and in Southern California, the price is close to $1 million. So a lot of people can easily move from California to Las Vegas. That's the big question now as we go through 2025. So nobody knows what's going to happen to the overall real estate market in 2025, but as of now, especially here in Las Vegas, housing inventory is spiking, prices are now finally starting to come down, and that's becoming more commonplace, and I want to show you a few examples of that coming up. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to show you 3 specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale here on the popular real estate platform Zillow, because I want to show you, number 1, this first example of a home that is massively overpriced in my opinion, and then the next 2 examples I want to show you homes that have already been reduced heavily in price. So let's first take a look at this one. Now, this is the baseline entry-level luxury point here in Las Vegas, which is about $1 million or higher. So you can see the current list price on this home is $1.2 million. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,278 square foot home, but I want to show you the full price history down below so you get a better understanding of how overpriced this home is in my opinion. All right, so take a look at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down on the bottom left there, the date says 10/31/2016. So we're going back a little bit less than 9 years ago. This home was sold for $582,000. And if we look just above it, the home was listed on 1/2/2025. You can see in the yellow highlight there, for $1.2 million. So the sellers think that this home has more than doubled in value in less than 9 years. This is, again, my biggest issue with the real estate market, especially with a home like this, because none of the homes, as you're about to see, that are surrounding this home have even remotely sold for this kind of a price point. So again, in my opinion, what you're about to see are lower home prices, and ultimately, the seller is likely going to reduce the price of this home in order for it to finally sell. So take a look at this aerial footage shot of this particular community, because these are the homes that are surrounding the one that you can see right there in the top middle where the red arrow is pointing to, for $1.2 million. So let's just go down the left side of the street and just go over some of these numbers here. On the left side right here, 870, 744, 970, 1 million, 741. Then there's the home listed for $1.2 million. 833, 1 million, 771, 982, 712, and $1.1 million. All right, so this aerial footage shot shows a couple of small yellow circles which indicate homes in this community that have sold within the last year. Now, if we take a look at the top right here, you can see this one says $1 million basically. If we take a look down at the bottom middle there, that one says $879,000. And then at top right here, it says 2 units. Those 2 homes roughly sold around the $1 million mark, just under that, which goes to show you that the homes in this particular community that have sold recently, they're topping out at about $1 million. So again, it just goes to show you that the home that I talked about originally that's listed for $1.2 million is heavily overpriced in my opinion, which again, a lot of sellers are doing. And what's happening now is a lot of sellers are getting wake-up calls realizing that those homes are going to sit on the market because none of the surrounding homes support their price point, and they're likely going to have to reduce it in order for it to sell. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now we're coming down in price. You can see on the left side of the screen, this home is currently listed for $795,000. You can see just above that price point, though, they did a small price cut of $3,000 last month, but that is definitely not the full price reduction as you're about to see. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,600 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the full price reduction from where this home was originally priced at compared to this current price right now. All right, so again, focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight down in the bottom left there. The date says 2/28/2011. So I'm going back nearly 14 years ago to show you guys when this home sold for just $265,000 when home prices were actually fairly reasonable here in the Las Vegas real estate market. Now, if you take a look just above it, you can see the price point that they tried listing it at this past summer of $863,000. That's over triple the price that they paid for it about 14 years ago and a $600,000 increase. It was massively overpriced at the time this past summer. They have not been able to find any kind of a buyer. So you can see the price reductions above it, $839,000, $819,000, $798,000, and now right there, $795,000. So there's a couple of takeaways here. Number one, this home has been on the market now for 6 months and it's been reduced nearly $70,000 from the original price point, and they still can't find a buyer because again, the home is still overpriced. But the second big takeaway is that these sellers bought this home 14 years ago. And even if they sold the home all the way down to, let's say, $700,000 or $750,000, they are still going to make a very significant profit on the home because had you bought a home 10 or 15 years ago, that was about the best time you could have bought because that was when we were coming out of that last real estate crash. So again, the sellers are still going to do quite well, even though a lot of sellers are massively overpricing their homes. So if you're a buyer, you don't want to just bid blindly on the original list price of these sellers' homes because a lot of times they're overpriced to begin with. And if you're patient or you put in a lowball offer, especially now during the slow part of the real estate sales cycle, you're likely going to get a better deal. All right, so now let's take a look at this third and final example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now you can see on the left side of the screen, this home is currently listed for just under $560,000. In that small red text just above it though, they did a small price cut last month of just $5,000, which is only a partial reduction of the full reduction that I'm going to show you in just a minute. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,200 square foot home. But again, let's take a look down below at the original price point compared to this current list price. All right, so let's dissect this a little bit. Take a look at the bottom of the screen one more time in the blue highlight. Take a look at that date down there. The bottom left there, it says 4/4/2012. So that's 13 years ago almost at the bottom of the real estate crash. And the people who bought the home bought this home for $153,000. This is literally the bottom of the market. The timing could not have been better from these sellers to have bought it at that time. Now, if we look at the date just above it here in the yellow highlight, 10/13/2022, that was just about the peak of the real estate market a couple of years ago. They listed this home for sale, you could see, for $628,000. There were no takers, and they've done small price reductions all the way up, as you can see. As I scroll up here, you can see as it goes all the way up here, they even tried renting the home, and then when we get to the very top here, you can see the current price point right there at $560,000. So again, a couple of takeaways here. Number one, this home has now been on the market for over 3 months. It's had close to a $70,000 price reduction, and they still can't find a buyer because, again, the original list price was too high and it was not true market value, and that's why the home has been sitting on the market. But again, the other big takeaway is this. Again, take a look at the bottom right side of that blue highlight. This home was purchased 13 years ago or so for $153,000. So even if the sellers sell this home at $550,000 or $525,000, the sellers are going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on this home regardless, even if the home gets reduced even more so, because the home is appreciated so much. So again, timing is everything with real estate. Had you bought back then during that real estate crash, everybody made a lot of money when they're trying to sell their home now. Again, it's good for sellers, bad for buyers. So again, this just goes to show you that even though this home is still going to make the sellers a lot of money, it doesn't mean as a buyer you bid on the original list price. You've got to have a real estate agent that can run the comps for you, find the true value before bidding on the homes. And again, especially during the slow part of the real estate season, you definitely want to be patient, in my opinion, or put in a lower than asking price offer, because at this time of year, you're likely going to get a better deal on a home, even if the sellers are still going to make a lot of money. So there's a lot of these kind of price reductions that are happening now in the Las Vegas real estate market. And with interest rates expected to be very high through at least a good portion of 2025 and inventory increasing across the country, I anticipate some kind of a slide or a correction in home prices as we go later into this year. So before we end today's video, I just want to go back to the Southern California wildfire tragedy that's going on still, because a lot of people commented in my last video what that's going to do potentially to home prices, especially in neighboring states like Nevada, because Las Vegas is right next door to Southern California, and how that's potentially going to affect home prices. And I wanted to read a few of the comments to you, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and comment on them. So this first comment is from RCP. I think Vegas house prices will go up because of people from LA affected by the fires. Some will move to avoid California horrid government, some while they wait for their houses to be rebuilt, some will give up when they face rebuild red tape. So this next comment is from Carrie. I disagree, Jerry. There's going to be a ton of burnt out victims from LA buying Vegas houses. And this last comment is from Boulder City. I guarantee that anyone who lived in Pacific Palisades is not going to move to Las Vegas. They will rebuild or move to Orange County. To those people, Las Vegas is like moving to San Bernardino. So a lot of people commented on the Southern California wildfire tragedy. A lot of people seem to think that a lot of people who live in Southern California are going to move to places like Las Vegas and not go through the headaches and all of the money and all of the time to rebuild and stay in California. I'm a little bit on the fence right now because, again, a part of me thinks a lot of California residents love California and they're going to stay there, but a lot of people also don't want to go through all the time, the headaches, and the money to rebuild. I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to get your opinion on the Southern California wildfire tragedy. Do you think a lot of people in Southern California are going to stay there and rebuild, or do you think a lot of them are going to migrate to places like Las Vegas and other parts of the country because they don't want to go through that kind of a tragedy again? And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So just to close out the video, I just want to give my heartfelt condolences to the residents of Southern California and the thousands of people that unfortunately have lost their homes. It is a very heartbreaking tragedy. And again, I know buying a home, whether you're living in California or anywhere in the country, is a very big decision. And those decisions need to be carefully thought out, whether you live in California or anywhere in the country. You need to run your financial numbers to see if it makes sense to buying a home, even in a place like Las Vegas, where the median home price here and property taxes are very mild compared to a lot of other expensive parts of the country. Now, if you are thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.